And so, welcome back, guys. It is officially November, and you've probably seen most people talking about the winter arc again. You know, that time of the year where people suddenly go into full discipline mode, waking up at 5 a.m., gym every day, cold plunges, no excuse mode. And honestly, that's amazing for some people, but it doesn't have to be the only way you can do this kind of winter arc. For the ones that are here for the first time, I welcome you on my YouTube channel. Here we're talking about sports, lifestyle, and tips in general. Hope you will like it, and don't forget to subscribe. So if you're not familiar with it, what is the winter arc? So the winter arc is the idea that when it's cold and dark, like November, December, January, and so on and so on, so basically winter time, you should be working very hard, grinding, and building discipline so you can really glow up before spring. It is kind of like a reset season, a time to focus on yourself, your goals, and your life in general. As you probably know me, I love everything that goes around like discipline and doing something good for you, going to the gym or sports in general and everything. But sometimes it kind of feels a little harsh when I see this online. I totally belong to the squad that wakes up at 5 a.m. and does everything and blah blah blah, but still I'm not 100% okay with the idea that if you do not wake up at 5 a.m. and go to the gym every day, you're somehow falling behind. In my opinion, it can feel cold, a little harsh, and mostly masculine. Don't get me wrong, I mean this as it's all about control and not care. So here we are today to talk about my version of a soft winter arc. As I said, I really like this idea of really getting into it because you know that I'm a fan, generally speaking, of getting into a good mode and really working on yourself and doing it a routine, even if it's before, after spring, summer, whatever. But I really like this idea to feel good already, because every summer I kind of feel so sad for so many people telling me that I look so good, or that I saw some people on social media or whatever that look so good and that I don't have time anymore to do this kind of like for this particular summer. So this is a good way to already getting into spring and summer and having like all the efforts, because I do not want to talk about the perfect body, because this is something very different for very different people. If you know me, you know that I'm really struggling with winter in general, so like darkness and coldness. That's also why I moved to the south of France, and today it is November 5th and it is 20 degrees outside and sunny, and I could not be happier. But still, it is getting dark at 5 and this is not cool, and I also get kind of like not depressed but not happy. I always feel like when it's getting cold and dark, I just immediately step into bed and I don't want to go out anymore after 5, and that really doesn't sound good when you imagine that I'm working or having school until 5, so basically I'm doing nothing else, and we cannot do that for several months a year, every year. So it should be a season of growth still, but maybe more gentle in a grounded, soft way. For me, it is about consistency without pressure. For example, movement that feel good. In my case, it will be yoga or Pilates, nourishing meals, warm teas, journaling, reading, soft music, and cozy evening. I think it's not only about pushing, it's also about listening. So what does my body actually needs besides of I want chocolate right now, and what can I do to get there? But so, what does my winter arc look like? It is not only intense workouts, but it is also morning stretches and gentle Pilates from time to time. It depends on your goals, but it is really better in my opinion to do a few intensive workouts and then switch to a more gentle workout at least once in a week when you just feel like it is not possible or on a given day. It will calm you down and at the same time give you so much more energy to go with to the next session. And I don't know, being in the winter time is for me more like staying in and being like cozy and chill. So I think this is a good pair. Herbal tea rituals. All year long, of course, but even more in the winter time, I think it is really important to do homemade stuff. It can be really easy. What I love to do to get my vitamin is just to do some ice cubes that I do from fresh oranges, lemon, and ginger. You just mix them all together and put them into ice cubes, and so that every day for at least 1 week, you will already have your tea pre-made. And that way you can have all the vitamins you need, and of course you can add a lot of honey or whatever. But there are so many ways to warm yourself up with way better things than only hot chocolate. I know I like that too, but I don't possess any of it at home because I just know that I will take it all the time, and herbal teas or thing in that category will probably more keep you in best shape. We talked about drinking, but eating is quite the same. Cooking warm, colorful, and comforting meals. Be careful. When I say comforting, I'm not only talking about like these mega fat thing with cheese and everything. You can also do comforting meals that are not that unhealthy. Especially since I'm vegetarian, it is really important to me to try different things and cook a lot of colors. And let's admit it, even if we're not kids anymore, just eating something colorful can sometimes be so cool. So just try something new out, try a new recipe or something you even know already, but try to cook it yourself. First of all, it will keep you busy for a little time. Second, you will really discover new things and what you actually like, how you like the spices and everything. Third, you know what's in it. And fourth, you will have this rewarding feeling to say like, I made this and I know exactly what's in it and it tastes good. Maybe you will have to try it a few times, but it's okay. Creating cozy moments at home. This is so important and most people are just taking it as an option. At least once a week, you should have your own time, really yourself alone, even if you're living with your partner or whatever, or at least be sure that you both really like it. For example, for me, it would be candles, a good book, and a self-care night. Self-care doesn't only mean doing face masks, but really self-care. Taking more time than usual in the shower or even taking a bath. Doing, some self-care in a face mask, for example. But also getting a few stretches, putting on my favorite pajama, journaling, whatever makes you feel good. So try to have this little ritual, even if it's not on a specific day, but really try to have it at least once a week. It doesn't matter if it's Wednesday or Tuesday night or Saturday, whenever, but try to have at least 1 or 2 hours where you have this little ritual. In that way, you will really have the mindset of, okay, now is discipline time, now is sports, now is this, now is that, because I know that at some point in this week I will have this specific moment where I can really release all the stress. And you will not only think, but tomorrow I have to do this and tomorrow I have to do that and I have to finish it right now because tomorrow this continues and everything. You will have this moment to tell yourself, okay, I do everything because I know that at that moment I will have the peace of mind that I wanted. Taking time to reflect instead of only rushing goals. I know you have goals, I have multiple goals, and I know that sometimes it can seem frustrating if you don't get to your goal fast enough or you have more and more and more goals, but really try to take some time, at least once a week too, to really reflect on your goals. Where you're standing right now, is your goal still achievable or it is still achievable in the timeline that you fixed? Can you maybe split your bigger goal in some mini goals so that you can really see how it's evolving? Do you maybe want something else? Do you maybe feel that you have to do something else? Reflecting is the best thing to get to your important goals. I'm not saying that you should abandon any goal. I'm just saying that sometimes we really make goals and are so sure of ourselves, and then we do something and we're like, okay, I can do it, but I just don't like it. And I'm not talking about trying something and feeling miserable and then being like, okay, it's not done for me. No, we're not talking about this. But sometimes, and this is part of growth, we just want something different and just want to adjust our lives to it. What you should keep in mind is that your winter arc should not be a punishment. So these were a few examples that I gave you from my life, but you can of course do whatever you want with it. Adjust it, take the same, do something less, do something more. But for me, it is really important to see it as something slow, intuitive, and still powerful. Discipline doesn't always need doing more. Sometimes it just means doing what is right for you and your energy. And if you don't get this, you will really struggle getting to your goals, I swear to you. Or it will be really unpleasant, and this is not what we want. Because remember, getting to your goal is cool, but if all the years you spent working toward it were miserable, is that really what you wanted? So if you're in your winter arc too, maybe you can try it this way if you don't really like the way the winter arc is usually presented. So maybe one that's more warm, cozy, and filled with self-love. This was my version, but I would still love to know what your version looks like. So don't hesitate to tell me in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more content. I wish you the best day ever, of course.